the sense of urgency is gone again, which is catastrophic, if you ask me, because I mean, we need to take very fast decisions when it comes to replacing this natural gas from Russia next year. And right now, that sense of urgency is gone as a consequence of the warmer temperatures. If you look at the Twitter sentiment in Europe right now, it's almost as if some of the key decision makers, they're taking victory laps, like trying to tell especially the Anglo-Saxon media, well, it wasn't as bad as you predicted, right? But I mean, we were lucky.
Is the general consensus that Europe is going to avoid the kind of humanitarian disaster from energy shortages that we were seriously talking about at the end of the summer?
Yeah, I mean, given what we know about the level of storages right now, we at least know that Europe is safe for the next 3 months. We know that with a very high degree of certainty. At least we need an extreme winter in a negative sense to sort of rock the boat on such a time horizon. If we look into Q1 next year, February, March, still very cold months in parts of Europe, it's still kind of debatable whether we have energy enough. But in a base case, we should be sufficiently covered for this winter season. I think the key question is the next winter season. And I think that was kind of what everybody missed in the discussion earlier this summer, that throughout the early spring and over the summer, Europe was actually able to tap the natural gas resources from Russia to a very large extent. We need to remember that Russia basically closed the Nord Stream pipelines towards the very end of the summer, right? Which was sort of also the peak crisis moment in European energy space. So next year, we don't have those Russian flows to rely on. And usually Russia delivers in between 40 and 45% of the entire natural gas consumption in Europe. Right now, we've probably replaced in between 40 and 45% again of that flow with liquid natural gas. But we still need to replace the other half of that Russian natural gas flow with something else, unless we want to face another winter with high prices leading to lower consumption. And I mean, when you see lower consumption of natural gas, it also means that some households, they don't heat the house to the same extent as they used to, right? So we probably won't freeze to death, but it carries repercussions for the average household in Europe already now.
Absolutely. And the economy, if you have swaths of the industrial base having to shutter because the costs are too high. I mean, that will only serve to deepen any potential recession, right?
Yeah, I mean, look at an economy like the German. The German economy has been leveraged on cheap energy for the past couple of decades. That was the whole idea behind the policy that they designed, basically in conjunction with the Russian administration throughout the early 2000s. They wanted to be able to construct an industrial engine based on the cheapest possible natural gas delivery in the world. And it probably was the cheapest natural gas delivery in the world up until recently, right? So the German industrial engine is, if not stone dead, then at least suffering big time due to this lack of Russian natural gas. And I'm yet to see any comforting signals from the German administration when it comes to the strategy for how to replace this Russian natural gas. They still take very short-term decisions. They recently decided to prolong a couple of nuclear sites until April. But I mean, it was basically forced by the market, right? It wasn't a decision that they wanted to take. They were forced to take it by the market. So for now, I don't really see any plan in Germany. They traveled the Middle East a couple of weeks ago to try and cater new deals on liquefied natural gas. But Qatar, the biggest exporter of liquid natural gas in the Middle East, they ask for long-term contracts. And if you look at the carbon neutrality goals in Germany, they simply don't align with long-term contracts on natural gas because, you're basically out of sync if you're buying natural gas on a 40-year contract and you want to be carbon neutral in 2050. So for now, I don't think the public opinion in Germany has moved enough to ensure that the politicians have the mandate to cater such a deal.
It's interesting. This is where the warm weather factors in as well, because people haven't felt the same level of, energy anxiety, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's been warm, because they haven't really reached winter yet.
No, I mean, you're obviously right. Compared
Not that
to,
you want to see suffering. I mean, let's be clear, like that's terrible. But that is when you're in that heightened state is when things will move faster, I suppose.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, watching the public opinion in Europe over the past 4 to 6 weeks, the sense of urgency is gone again, which is catastrophic, if you ask me, because I mean, we need to take very fast decisions when it comes to replacing this natural gas from Russia next year. And right now, that sense of urgency is gone as a consequence of the warmer temperatures. If you look at the Twitter sentiment in Europe right now, it's almost as if some of the key decision makers, they're taking victory laps, like trying to tell especially the Anglo-Saxon media, well, it wasn't as bad as you predicted, right? But I mean, we were lucky. We cannot count on warm winters going forward. Maybe we can due to the global warming, who knows? But I mean, it's at least not a strategy to count on Mother Nature, right?
Hey there, revolutionaries. To join a community sharing insights like you just watched, head over to realvision.com. There you will get unbiased insights and exclusive access to the very best, brightest, and biggest names in finance. Be a part of our community of lifelong learners. See you there.